Hi everyone! If you are new here, I am Kim with KTB Create. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoy creating DIY decor on a very tight budget, then I am your girl and you won't be disappointed. Go ahead and click on that subscribe button and make sure you tap that notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. If you are a returning subscriber, you know I love you. Thank you so much for your support over the past year. And either way, comment down below because I love to connect with my subscribers. So today I am super excited because I am teaming up with Heidi Sonboul from Heidi Sonboul DIY, and I am participating in her Summer DIY Daily series. So today I'm creating 2 red, white, and blue themed DIY decor projects, definitely remaining on a very tight budget. So if that interests you, then stick around and let's go ahead and get started. So for the first DIY, you are going to need 13 of these gallon paint stick stir things, whatever you call them. I actually purchased these off of Amazon because I got a big pack of them, but I know you can also obviously buy them at Home Depot or Lowe's or possibly even Walmart. Anyone that has a pretty good paint section would probably sell them. So right here, I'm just trying to create my design, my pattern, and I'm just laying out the paint sticks to figure out which ones I'm gonna cut and how many I'm gonna have to cut. Because I'm gonna cut off, you'll see I just want the straight edges to kind of frame the paint sticks. And then the other ones we're just gonna leave as is with the little like divots in them. So this was quite a challenge doing this. I couldn't find my little tiny Dollar Tree saw, so I had to use my husband's really big saw, but it did work, and they're fairly easy to saw. It doesn't take much to cut through that. So all I'm doing here is cutting down all of the stir sticks for the edging or the frame around my design. I did measure incorrectly, and that sometimes happens when you're doing these DIY projects. So I had to set it back up again and go through it once again, marking where I have to cut everything yet again. So if these things happen to you, you are not alone, trust me. So that is all I am doing here. I'm showing you how I went about measuring everything and cutting everything to size. So next we are going to paint 4 of the stir sticks with a red. I'm just using a regular red acrylic paint, and you're going to need 2 to 3 coats on this. And I also wanted to take a moment to talk about my dear friend Heidi Sonboul from Heidi Sonboul DIY. She has an amazing channel. She is super talented. And what she has done to her house over the last year is just incredible. So definitely go ahead and check out her channel after you're done watching here. Then you're gonna paint 3 of the stir sticks in white. And I am using my Rust-Oleum chalk paint in linen white to do that. So I'm also gonna go in and paint all of the border or the edge pieces with the white chalk paint as well. And on those pieces, you want to be especially careful and make sure that you do get all edges and all sides. I didn't show you in the video, but I obviously did go in and sand off the rough edges after I sawed the pieces. So once you figure out your pattern here, I'm taking 2 of the large popsicle sticks and I am going to glue them to the back of this. So I am gonna go in and paint them because you're gonna be able to see it through those little gaps in the stir sticks. So I'm painting 1 white. So now we are gonna just attach all of the stir sticks together. I am gonna use some Gorilla wood glue, and I am just gonna carefully attach them. And this glue dries fairly quickly. So you just kind of have to hold them in place for a few seconds until they're quite secure, and then you're good to go. So once that is all glued together, I'm taking those popsicle sticks and just make sure you put the white one over where those little holes are on the stir sticks. And you're just gonna use your wood glue to glue those down as well. And then you're gonna piece together all of the edges and the sides and make sure they're in the right spots and they meet up well. You probably, if you want it to go ahead and spackle all the edges so that it looked more seamless, you probably could have done that before you painted, but I wasn't too worried about that because I like the nice rustic farmhouse type look. So I am just going to go in and use my Gorilla Glue to glue all of the edges together and to frame out the piece. And then I'm going to take 2 more popsicle sticks just to glue those outer edges to the stir sticks, to the flag part of it, just to make sure it's more secure. And then once that's all dry, I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a little blue square, as you would see on a flag. So I'm just kind of winging it. I'm not really measuring it at all, and I'm just taping it out with my blue painter's tape. So I'm gonna go in. I only had this like really bright blue acrylic paint. I didn't have anything navy blue, so I'm creating my own navy blue. So I just used a little drop of black acrylic paint mixed in with that blue to create a nice navy blue. And then you're just gonna go ahead and paint your little square in your navy paint. That did take about 3 coats as well. Then once that's all dry, you're gonna take off your painter's tape and fix any edges that might have bled, and then you start to see your flag forming. Now, you could use stickers with stars on them, or if you have a vinyl printer, you could print out stars. I just decided to go ahead in with a white chalk pen and just draw out some stars. Again, there's no real true pattern here. I just put as many stars on here as I could fit, and then I just went back in and did a second coat with the chalk pen. So next I wanted to create some wording for the next piece that we're gonna add to this. And all I had on hand were these stickers from the Dollar Tree, and they obviously have a cute little flower pattern on them. So I am just gonna go in with some burnt umber paint, which is a brown paint, and I'm going to cover the stickers in that paint just to change the color of them. And I am going to use 2 sheets of this. Now again, you can use your vinyl cutter machine, or if you have any other stickers that would work to spell out whatever you want to put on your sign if you're going to recreate this at home. I then went in with some burnt umber and I did some dry brushing along the edges just to have the frame part of it kind of jump out a little bit and highlight the flag piece. So this piece here, which is an outline of the United States, was a piece that I got at the Target dollar spot last year. It was last summer. I don't know if they have them this year because I haven't been there yet. So I had this on hand and I just went in with the burnt umber and dry brushed that all over as well. And I'm also gonna do it along the edges of this because the edges were unfinished. So I felt as though this would kind of define the piece a little bit more and make it jump out a little bit more. So now, once my letters were all dry with my brown acrylic paint, I am gonna stick them on the sign. I'm going to spell out Home of the Free because of the brave, and I'm using my little cameo tool for vinyl. to help stick these on. Now I do have the lines there in the sign that kind of help me with the measuring and keeping everything straight. So I'm not too worried about that. Now I did have to mix the letters a little bit because I didn't have, I think it was enough E's or enough O's to spell out what I needed to spell out. So you'll see I'm going to use a little bit of a different design lettering, but I kind of like the way that looks when, you know, you kind of change it up a little bit. I think it makes it look much more unique. So the last touch of this is I'm going to make 2 little tassels to hang from the sign just to add a little bit more texture to the sign. So I wrapped the tassel around like a cardboard piece I had cut out, and I believe I wrapped it around 15 times. Now this twine that I'm using is a really thick twine. I actually bought it, I believe, from Walmart. So the tassels are pretty thick. So I think it would probably look better if you had some Dollar Tree twine or some very thin twine. And just to make the tassels, if you haven't done this before, I'm showing you how to do that here. But once you have those wrapped around, you're just going to take a piece of twine and tie them all together really tightly. And then once you have that done, you're going to take another piece of twine and you're going to wrap it around and leave the top together, and then you're going to cut the ends to make your tassel. If that makes sense, I think it does. You could see what I'm doing here to help you along with that. And then once you cut through all of that, then I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of even out the bottom edges so that your tassel is nice and even. And that is what your tassel should look like. Now, as far as hanging the sign, I am just going to hot glue some twine to the back of the sign. Mine is on a covered porch, so I don't have to worry about the elements or anything like that. And then I'm gonna take the 2 little tassels that I created. I'm gonna leave one a little bit longer than the other, and I'm just gonna tie them to the string that you're gonna hang it from. And here is the finished piece. I hope you love it as much as I do. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I think it's a really cool piece that would dress up your patio or your front door, and it's a nice patriotic piece. So you have to let me know what you think down in the comments below, because I love to hear from you guys. So for the next DIY, you are gonna need 2 of these little flip-flop signs that you can purchase at the Dollar Tree. They are in stock this season. And I am just gonna start out by cutting off the little twine hangers and then sanding off all of that glitter around the bottom. And you're gonna try and smooth out that bottom wording as much as you can, because it will peek through a little bit. So now I'm taking my blue acrylic paint again, and I'm going to create a nice navy color once again because I don't have navy. So I'm just taking this blue, and again, I'm gonna add a little dot of black paint to that. And then all you're gonna do is you're gonna paint one of the flip-flops in the navy blue paint, and the other flip-flop you're gonna paint in white. Now, obviously, if you're using a chalk paint, that does cover fairly well. I think I only needed 2 coats with the chalk paint and the white. And then because I'm using acrylic paint for the navy blue, I did about 3 or 4 coats on that. So now I decided I had to go back in and do the little straps on the flip-flops. So I'm taking, I had another one of the signs, and I'm just using that to reference as far as drawing the little straps in. So I just did that with pencil, And then on your white flip-flop, you're gonna paint that with the red and white stripes. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my blue painter's tape and I am using the width of that to be the width of my stripe. So I'm just taking that, you see that center blue tape, and I'm just using that as my spacer and then removing it every time and using it to space out again. So I also wanted to darken up my red paint a little bit. This is, like I said, a fairly bright red. So I wanted to make this red a much deeper, like more of like a maroon red or deep red. So again, I took my red acrylic paint and just added a little bit of that black paint to it. I added a little bit too much and I had to go back in and add a little bit more red to it. Then you're gonna go ahead and paint all of the pieces open in your red paint. And just be sure that you don't cover up the straps that you penciled out. This is always my favorite part of any project, is peeling off the paint. Or peeling off the tape. It's so satisfying. And now I'm gonna go back in on the blue flip-flop and I'm just gonna paint the strap out in white. In the end, what I ended up doing with this, you probably could skip using the white paint. But like any good DIY, sometimes it takes some trial and error to figure out the right look that I'm looking for. So you probably don't have to do this step, or maybe you actually preferred to leave them in the white. You could do that as well. So now you'll see, this is where I start to second guess myself, because I painted them brown. I painted the straps brown, and I was kind of going for, I wanted it more of like a woven type look for the straps. So you'll see I did paint them both in brown and the burnt umber paint. And then you'll see later on, I went in and did something a little bit different. So I started to add in some other acrylic paint colors. I think I had a caramel and a mocha. And what I wanted to do was like just highlight a little bit. And I really didn't like the way it looked. I don't think I had the right detail paintbrushes to be able to do that. So then I just decided to start blending in all of the colors. So that's what I ended up doing. So I just kept going back in with my burnt umber, the caramel, and the mocha, and I just kept blending them together until I liked the look of it, I felt it made it look more of like that sandal type woven look, if that makes any sense. So now I am going to create 2 little twine bows for each flip-flop. So I just went around and wrapped this twine around my fingers, I think 4 or 5 times to create a little bow. And then you're gonna slip that off of your fingers and you're gonna take another piece of twine and you're actually gonna tie that together. And once you have it tied together, you're gonna try and separate it a little bit and just spread out those little pieces. And you're gonna do 2 of these to make 1 little twine bow. So you're gonna do another bow, and then you can either tie it to the first one or you can just hot glue them together, whatever you prefer. Then you're gonna go ahead and cut off any of your excess pieces of twine. And that's what your finished twine bow should look like. Now I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna hot glue them right onto my flip-flops. And then I took these little beaded embellishments that I already had, and I'm just gonna hot glue those to the center of the twine bows just to give it some little decoration. Now I will say, before you go ahead and do this, I didn't think of it at the time, but you are gonna want to put some Mod Podge or clear spray over these just so they don't get scratched up or ruined at all. And then I had printed out some stars from my Silhouette Cameo, and that's what I am doing here. I'm just kind of sporadically placing them. I am just sporadically placing them all over my blue flip-flop. And again, you could probably find some Dollar Tree star stickers or something like that, or you can even use a chalk pen and just freehand them. So I'm showing you here, sometimes when certain paints, it leaves like a chalky residue on it and it looks scuffed. So all you have to do, it's a little trick, is take a damp paper towel or rag and you're just gonna go in and blot it. You don't wanna wipe it or you're gonna get remnants of your towel all over it. You just wanna blot at those pieces that looked kind of scuffed or chalky, and it takes it right away. And here I'm showing you to finish it off. I just went in with some Mod Podge just to seal everything. And here is the finished look. This is by far one of my favorite projects I think I've ever done. I just love the way these turned out. It was inspired by a picture that I saw on Pinterest, and I just had to kind of recreate it and put my own spin on it. And I am absolutely thrilled with the way it came out. So again, you'll have to let me know what you think in the comment box below. Thank you to Heidi Sonboul for joining up with me today, and I hope everyone has a great week, and I will see you all very soon.